What's up, heathens? How y'all doing? Today I'm here with Reds Rhetoric to discuss some flat earth comments that have been left on my video. Reds, how are you doing today?
You know, I was doing fine. I was having a really angry wank, and then you decided to call me and you said, look, I got some people who are wrong on the internet, and I was like, fuck, so I had to pull up my pants, and now I'm here. So let's just get this shit going already.
Well, I hope that you're ready to facepalm yourself into next week, because holy fuck do we have some shit today.
So basically what you're saying is I need to grab my nearest waterproof receptacle and grab my facepalm protection oven mitts. Great. All right, let me break them out of storage. It's only been a day and a half.
All right, so for this first one, it's on a Delano TV video, and so we have the first part is gravity don't exist. It's called density. NASA is a hoax.
Oh boy. Okay, so I've seen this before where it's called density. Okay, so let's just imagine we have something in a vacuum chamber, no air. That means there is no density. Okay, it's a fucking vacuum, dude. So basically, in order for there to be directional influence, there needs to be density gradients. If you get rid of it, why does shit still fall?
Yeah, that's people they can't answer that. Like what they reduce it down to is just things falling down is just an immutable fact of the universe, and that's just how it always is. Like they don't have like an actual explanation for why things fall down.
Not only that, but they don't actually have a reason to disagree with gravity. They don't know how gravity factors into the bigger picture. These guys are just idiots. They're just parroting what they think is the coolest thing to be agreeing with in the flat earth community crowd. Oh, gravity is Satan, therefore it's wrong.
Oh, yeah, of course, gravity's Satan. Whenever things fall, don't you see 666 being traced out into the air?
You know, now that you mentioned it, no, I don't. But I do want to say that would be fucking awesome.
It would be. Okay, so the second comment he has here, same guy. It's the Lord's Cat 11. Apparently, there's 11 Lord's Cats. I thought there was only Creationist Cat out there, but anyways, you have never seen, heard, or felt the earth move, albeit no commas anywhere in that, by the way. It's sad you still believe the lie. There are 200 angels imprisoned underground. Azazel is at Area 51. Jesus is coming soon. The rapture is near.
Okay. I would like to introduce you to something called Xanax, good sir. I think you're perfect for it. Just throwing that out there. And also for the Creationist Cat thing, nothing a lawsuit won't fix. You know, just throwing that out there. And also,
I find it really awesome that he's like, Azazel's at Area 51, and it's like, what the fuck are you talking? Like, why would they have 200 angels imprisoned at Area 51? Is Area 51 where they keep all of the Nephilim? Is that where they went?
if that's the place, then dude, I gotta make that shit into a nightclub.
I know, right? Wouldn't that be awesome? You just see imprisoned angels everywhere around, and it's like, hey, do you want another Jack Daniels?
Oh, don't worry. We also have a steakhouse with A1. Oh, I love this shit. It's totally great. As far as never seen, heard, or felt the earth move, I wonder what a ball spinning once in a 24-hour period would sound like. Just throwing that out there. As far as what it would look like, I assume it would be really boring as fuck. And feeling it, no shit, you wouldn't feel it. Take a basketball, spin it once in a 24-hour period. Doesn't look very fast now, does it? No shit, you aren't going to feel anything.
But hey, Azazel's imprisoned at Area 51. You can't disagree with that now.
Well, the one thing I'm not going to disagree with is that would be really fucking awesome to be a titty bar. Just throwing that out there.
But yeah, see, a lot of them think that we should be feeling ourselves moving at 1,000 miles per hour, but they really don't understand the fact that like our atmosphere is moving with the earth and we are also moving with the earth at the same speed. And so like they don't understand the whole idea that you really only feel like changes in acceleration, like when you slow down or you speed up. But once you get moving at a constant speed, you don't feel like movement anymore.
If we had a road that was as smooth as glass, glass, and I had a car that was like a fucking Rolls Royce with plush suspension and everything like that. If I'm moving at a constant speed and I shut all the windows, you would be none the wiser. Period. There's just no other way around it. The only way you're gonna know if you're moving is when you hit a bump in the road, or you have some sort of change in velocity, or you hear the engine moving. But subtract all of that out, you will not know that you are moving. The only way you know that you're moving is exactly as you said previously, changes in velocity.
Yeah, and I love how they love to put all of this like burden of proof on us with asking for evidence that just doesn't exist or that cannot exist. But yet they're like, but Azazel's imprisoned at Area 51. It's like, you can't fucking prove that. Like, where is your evidence? All you're doing is talking out of your ass. It just seems very lopsided whenever they come into the comments like that.
Lopsided? Well, gee, I wonder why that is. Maybe the reason why it sounds like all this shit is coming out of their ass is because that's exactly where their head is.
Yes, exactly. That, I mean, I can't think of a better explanation for that.
I think we solved the mystery here.
Yeah. People are dumb how the moon bright as fuck from Earth, but when they land on it, it's fucking dark. Get the fuck out of here, dumb fat boy. No punctuation at all, by the way.
Yeah, there's none there. There's not even a full stop there. Can you at least give it an exclamation point just to show us that you at least have passion with your mental retardation?
So like the moon, of course, from our perspective here on Earth, it's reflecting light from the sun, and that's why it's brighter here for us on Earth. Of course, when you're actually on the moon, it is bright, but like what you're doing is you're looking like from their perspective, it looks dark gray, but that's only because they can't see like the sunlight being reflected off of the moon. I mean, they can actually see the sun from where they fucking are.
It's a classic case of compare and contrast. When we're looking at the sun, most of the time it's in the night sky. Against a dark background, of course, the moon is going to look bright as fuck, but here's the thing. You can also have the moon out during the daytime, and it doesn't look as bright, now does it? So when you're actually there, you will have your eyes adjusting, you will also have the camera adjust its exposure so that you can see what the hell is going on. That has a side effect of making things look a little bit darker than how they look looking straight up at night. It's a concept of exposure, which is something that flat earthers still don't understand, even though I've been explaining this shit to them for 2.5 fucking years.
Yeah, well, and also the astronauts on the moon, they, like you were saying, they had to adjust the aperture of their cameras so that like it just wasn't like completely bright as fuck and you couldn't see anything. Like they had to adjust it so that you could actually see something.
Yeah, so basically the entire argument boils down to, they had to adjust the camera to not make it a white mess of pictures. Therefore, conspiracy, man. Therefore, conspiracy. Exposure is just a lie.
Yeah, I love how they totally negate like any like reasonable explanations that we could give them, because they just love to land back on, well, it's CGI conspiracy shit. Disney produced the moon landings. We all know this.
Yes, I've heard Disney, and let me tell you something. They could do a much better job than that. Seriously, I'm sorry, but I don't know about you, but just between you and me, I would have our astronauts look a little bit more graceful than tripping the fuck over themselves and falling on their ass on the moon.
Yeah. I mean, you would think that they would have them moving, more like I guess we see in movie, where it's very, specific
Perfect.
and intentional.
Yeah, perfect. There's a direction. There's a clear thing that we got to do, not fall on our ass and stumble. Come on, guys.
All right, and so the rest of this, I mean, of course, it's idiotic, but then of course he follows up with dumb fat boy, which I have to say I love it when they do this on the comments, because it's like it's really stupid until that very last part, and then they're just like, oh, I've got to stamp this with pure stupidity. I'll call him a dumb fat boy. That'll really sell my case here. Dumb fat boy.
It really sell your case. Yeah, it sells the case that you're a fucking idiot. Keep trying. Keep trying. Eventually, these people will win Dumb Fuck of the Year.
Oh, yes, I'm sure they will. They got to get past Live Life first, though.
Oh, God.
All right, so now this one is on my SpaceX Falcon Heavy launch. Funny as fuck. All you dicks saying they should do real research. What real research have you done? Lol. I don't angry mad or angry happy face or the closed eyes smiling face. Fucking idiots, and you too, Mr. Fat Face. You have gone to the moon, have you? Launched your own satellite or rocket? Flatter globe alls you've seen as proof is fucking footage, same as everyone else. Shut the fuck up. I like how they will spell out research and like launched and everything, but they have to like truncate fuck.
And also space ... space and then a non-capital you have gone to the moon. For fuck's sake. Wow. Okay. Yes, so, do real research. No, I have not launched my own satellite or my own rocket. However, I'm in a very unique spot. I live in Florida. Guess where they launch rockets from, bitch? Guess who's seen them? And not only that, but guess who has also tracked satellites and has seen them and filmed them and measured their altitude with my own equipment? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I do like how they require us to have like been on the moon or in space or anything like that when they themselves can't prove that like a dome exists or like that the Earth is flat. Like they can't prove any of that.
Of course. They want us to do the work for them. You know, I have gotten so many comments when I was first starting out. Oh, you suck. Use the Nikon P900. You suck. Use the Nikon P900. You'll go ahead and see that the Earth is flat once you get this all magical truth detector from Nikon. So after buying 2 of them, I found out that the Earth is not flat. It actually is round. And I also used the Nikon P900 to prove that satellites are actually in space by doing parallax measurements with it. And then all of a sudden people are saying, oh, it's fake, it's CGI, it's not real. So when shit agrees with them, supposedly, they're okay with it. But the very moment something goes against their narrative and gets shoved up their ass sideways, all of a sudden they have a problem with it.
Well, yeah, and actually in the recent discussions that like KC and I have been in, whenever you present them with actual information that they disagree with, it's either that reaction or they just are silent. Like they can't say anything and they redirect and change the discussion to something else.
The best way to shut them up is to just tell them to do it themselves. The one good thing about what I do and the good thing about what many people in the flat earth or debunking community do is we provide observations, we provide experimentations, but we also provide the instructions on how you guys can do it. If you don't believe us and you think that what we're doing is CGI, because of course I have that much time on my hands, then do it your fucking self.
Well, yeah, and actually, I believe it was on the Non Sequitur show with Wotan or whatever the fuck his name is. Wotan?
Wotan, Wu-Tang, Pootie Tang, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But anyways, so I asked him, like, well, what could you reasonably, like, what experiment do you think you could reasonably do? And we will get you the material. And, like, he never really gave a solid answer about it. And then before he shut off, like, before he hung up the call, he was like, there are no experiments, click. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, we gave him, you know, dropping a ball from a very high position and measuring the distance, accounting for wind and everything. Like we told him that he could do that, or he could measure any certain number of things that he can easily do for very little, because he was making it out to be like, oh, well, I don't have the money to send up a rocket into space to prove you wrong, or not space, but I guess to hit the dome or whatever the fuck.
I mean, for fuck's sake, these people have crowdfunded a lot of money to do bullshit that they never actually do. There's a funny story about that, but that may be for another video. But the fact of the matter is this, is that for the price of a car, which is definitely achievable when you think of just how many dumb fucks there are on the internet, you could actually launch a CubeSat into orbit. And you can launch this CubeSat with, oh, I don't know, maybe a camera on it. So get a CubeSat, launch it with Rocket Lab, put the shit into orbit, and see for yourself that the Earth is fucking round with your own equipment, and then start crying like a little bitch saying that NASA drugged you or some shit like that. I'm not sure. You guys should just eat raw spaghetti.
Well, I've actually heard them say that like telescopes are made to, give planets their spherical shape. Like just looking through a telescope makes the planets look spherical.
Okay, well, I can go ahead and debunk this because I have a friend of mine whose name is Astronomy Live. He was the guy that did the full unedited, uncut tracking of the Falcon Heavy rocket, and I have seen this in action. When we were in the parking lot, there was a really, really hot girl that was just way off in the distance, and we had a telescope, so we decided, let's go ahead and look over that. And but there was a problem. Naked eye, she had a very flat ass, and when we used the telescope to look at her, it did not make her ass any more round.
Proof positive.
and so basically, in order to demonstrate this, if there's any women out there that would like to donate their ass to science temporarily, just call me.
As far as this guy goes right here, I think that the fact that he pushes the burden of proof onto us while not bearing any kind of burden of proof on his whole idea is quite ridiculous for him to assert. And a lot of flat earthers do this.
It's called being a hypocrite, and that's exactly what many flat earthers are. In fact, I would say 100% of the flat earthers that I have spoken to are hypocrites.
I agree. I was just thinking, like, if you zoomed in on my ass with a telescope, I wonder if it would make it bigger. I would hope not. It's too big already.
Well, I think you're in luck.
All right. So this is on my Jeranism video. I don't know if you were there for that one, but in the Jeranism video, he literally thinks that there's a sun above the earth and that we all have individual domes above us that cause us to view the sunset and the sunrise. It's really fucking ridiculous.
Okay, so if he actually said that, then can you give me, 5 seconds? I just need to bash my face against my desk.
It was quite confusing. It took me like 3 times watching it through to figure out what the fuck he was talking about.
That doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay, look, if you want to go ahead and assert that we each have our own individual dome that has been given us by the Lord and Savior Jesus fucking Christ, that's fine, but don't expect me to believe it unless you have some fucking evidence for that. Basically, what it sounds to me, and this is just a guess, I think he might be full of shit here. It's just a guess. It's just a guess, but I think that what he's telling us is complete and total horseshit.
Yeah, no, it really is, because he says that the upper atmosphere has different like refraction qualities than we actually know them to be, and so that's why like it operates like it operates on the same refraction quality as like glass is basically what he was saying.
That's all well and good that they all have different properties, but individual properties for each individual that's on the fucking planet? Are you fucking me right now, dude?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, listen, I can understand, there being localized phenomena, but for each individual on the planet?
Yeah,
like,
also in that video, he had the idea, the general flat earther model of the earth where it shows like there's a building sticking off the side of the earth and then there's another building at the very top of the earth. Like it like they show it like that, he thought that that's how clouds work, like on a globe earth, that like clouds, whenever they go off into the distance, you should see more of the underside of them rather than them just, disappearing into the horizon.
Yeah, I've seen this argument before where ships are disappearing over the horizon and people are asking, well, why don't they look like they're leaning away? Well, I'll tell you exactly why. It's because math, you fucking idiot. You have to go over 67 miles for there to be even 1 degree of change. Do you know how slight 1 degree of change is? Okay? Basically, have a ruler. Have it go straight up and down. Have another ruler right next. Tilt it backwards by 1 fucking degree. And then ask people on the street to gauge it from a distance. Good fucking luck with that.
Yeah, I know, right? All right, so here's the comment. Hey, why didn't you show the SpaceX rocket in 2x speed from altitude? Clearly showing it not being very high. Were you rapping like Takashi and forget? Well, please reply. Show the rocket. Everyone, watch Jeranism video at end. Rockets don't go to space.
I imagine he's talking about the gravity turn that rockets have to do in order to get into into orbit because people are as stupid as he was. Because back in Journalism Flat Wrong Part 2, he thought that rockets should literally launch straight up to get into space. He literally thought that, and I guess people are still confused to this day on why rockets curve when going into space.
So why do rockets curve when they go into space?
Okay, imagine you have a ball. If you throw it sideways, it's going to curve and hit the ground. Throw it a little harder, it's going to curve and hit the ground, but slightly further. Now let's go Super Saiyan 3 on this motherfucker and chuck that shit so hard that the curve of its arc matches the curve of the Earth. And so what you would see was the ball would always be curving towards Earth, but Earth would always be curving away just as fast. That is called an orbit. That point of equilibrium is what rockets are aiming for. Because if you launch straight up, you're going to come straight down. That is called a suborbital launch. They're temporary. You will come down because rockets aren't launched with an infinite amount of fuel to fight against gravity for days or even hours at a fucking time. So the way you stay in space for a bit is to get into orbit, which means you have to curve, you have to go along the Earth's surface and go fast enough to get into orbit to achieve that equilibrium. Fucking tard.
I'm wondering if they watched like some of these science fiction movies where they have like just general vehicles that can go into space just by launching off of it. Like, I'm wondering if they saw those and were like, oh, that's how rockets work.
Well, and in that case, I suggest they stop watching those movies and I suggest they start playing Kerbal fucking Space Program, because literally so much shit can be debunked by simply playing Kerbal Space Program. When a fucking video game shits on the flat Earth, you're doing it wrong.
Actually, in Far Cry 5, they have a telescope, or not a telescope, but a rifle scope that it's only for like the 50 caliber sniper rifle. But in it says, don't forget to take in the curvature of the Earth. It's not flat. And it's like, oh, fuck! Shots fired by Far Cry 5.
Shots fired. I'm sorry, but flat earthers have basically become the gigantic, stupid-ass meme of the century. So congratulations, guys. You're now officially famous, but for all the wrong reasons.
But I don't know what he's talking about showing the SpaceX rocket at 2x speed from altitude. Like, I don't know what that's referencing right there.
I guess he assumed you had a drone on location. Don't get me wrong, that would be fucking cool, but no, we don't have footage of the SpaceX rocket from altitude. It was, I don't know if you realize this, but in Cape Canaveral when they're launching, it's kind of a fucking no-fly zone.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I think what's the minimum distance you have to be back from the rocket when it launches off? I mean, I wanted to say that it's like some miles. It's like on the order of miles.
It's miles. It's miles away. And they actually canceled a SpaceX launch that I was out to go see because there was a boat in the fucking area. There was a boat in the no-go zone. And they will scrub a launch because some fishermen decide to be a dickwad. And so when it comes to planes, they have to be even further back, like a lot further back. And if they don't, then they scramble the jets. That's why I'm not the NASA administrator or the SpaceX administrator or whatever, or Elon Musk, because if anyone tried to scrub my launch, they'd be like, sir, someone is in the no-go zone. My response would be, shoot the bitch down.
Sir, we cannot do that. There are women and children on that plane. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, let's see them, interrupt my fucking launch, dicks.